The Atlantic slave trade, spanning from the 16th to the 19th centuries, forcibly transported millions of Africans to the Americas, profoundly shaping global economies and societies. This dark chapter in history not only fueled the growth of industries, but also laid the groundwork for systemic racial inequalities that persist today. Understanding the legacy of slavery is crucial, as it informs contemporary discussions about race, identity, and social justice. By examining this historical significance, we can better comprehend the ongoing impact of these injustices in our society. Engaging with this topic allows us to confront uncomfortable truths and fosters a deeper awareness of the complexities surrounding race and history in our modern world. Throughout history, various forms of slavery have existed, including debt bondage, forced labor, and chattel slavery, each reflecting the socio-economic conditions of their time. Prior to the Atlantic slave trade, European contact with Africa began through trade and exploration, leading to the gradual establishment of a system that commodified human lives. As European powers sought to exploit the New World, the demand for labor intensified, particularly for key crops such as sugar, tobacco, and cotton. This demand fueled the transition from initial interactions to the systematic capture and transportation of enslaved Africans, marking the emergence of the Atlantic slave trade, which would have devastating effects on millions and reshape societies across continents. African leaders played a complex role in the Atlantic slave trade, often motivated by economic gain and power dynamics. Many kings and chiefs sold enslaved individuals to European traders, viewing it as a lucrative opportunity to acquire goods, weapons, and wealth, which bolstered their kingdoms. This participation brought significant economic benefits to certain African states, enhancing their influence and resources. However, the implications were profound, as the slave trade exacerbated intertribal relations, leading to increased warfare and conflict among communities vying for control over the lucrative trade. The resulting instability not only disrupted traditional societies, but also laid the groundwork for long-lasting social and political ramifications across the continent. The Middle Passage was a harrowing journey for enslaved Africans, characterized by brutal conditions aboard slave ships. Captives were crammed into tight, unsanitary spaces, often shackled and deprived of basic necessities, leading to rampant disease and high mortality rates. The psychological toll was immense, as individuals faced the trauma of separation from their families and the uncertainty of their fate. Many endured physical abuse at the hands of crew members, compounding their suffering. Despite these dire circumstances, enslaved individuals employed various coping mechanisms, including forming bonds with fellow captives and practicing cultural traditions. Some even resisted their captors through rebellion or self-harm, demonstrating resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity. The Atlantic slave trade had profound long-term effects on African demographics and economies, significantly altering the continent's social fabric. The loss of millions of individuals, particularly young and able-bodied members of society, weakened communities and disrupted family structures, leading to a decline in population and labor force. This demographic shift contributed to the collapse of several kingdoms that had relied heavily on the slave trade for economic prosperity, leaving them vulnerable to external threats and internal strife. Additionally, the trade fostered ongoing instability and conflict, as rival groups engaged in warfare to capture individuals for sale, perpetuating cycles of violence and undermining the development of cohesive, stable societies across the continent. The Atlantic slave trade significantly contributed to the development of racist ideologies, fundamentally altering perceptions of Africans as inferior beings. As Europeans sought to justify the inhumane practice of slavery, they propagated beliefs that dehumanized Africans, portraying them as subservient and uncivilized. This shift in perception allowed for the rationalization of slavery, with arguments rooted in pseudo-scientific theories and cultural superiority. These ideologies not only facilitated the brutal exploitation of millions, but also laid the groundwork for systemic racism that persists today. The lasting effects of these beliefs continue to influence modern society, manifesting in social inequalities, discrimination, and ongoing debates about race, identity, and justice in contemporary discourse. In summary, this video has explored the Atlantic slave trade, highlighting its historical significance, the harrowing experiences of enslaved Africans, and the long-term effects on demographics, economies, and the development of racist ideologies. Acknowledging this painful history is crucial for contemporary discussions about race and social justice, as it informs our understanding of ongoing inequalities. By engaging with these themes, we can foster a more informed and empathetic society. We encourage you to subscribe, like, and share this video to help raise awareness about the legacy of the Atlantic slave trade and its relevance today. Together, we can contribute to meaningful conversations and promote a deeper understanding of our shared history.